It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio, 95.7 FM. I'm Kevin Keatsman. In the seat on a Wednesday. We're about a week away from Christmas. Sort of feels like the holidays here around the office. One of the beautiful things about not working at home is being at an office and being around folks, especially this time of year, asking them just in casual conversation, the mundane things you talk about during the year. Now you're like, hey, how's that Christmas shopping going? You got everything done? And everybody has that stressed look in their eye. It's all good. The clock is ticking. The holidays are coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun. Undoubtedly last night, the highlight for me at the holiday party, the Cumulus holiday party, was meeting Chuck Nasty. And this is completely and totally embarrassing because I'd never met Chuck and I'd heard him before. If you don't know who Chuck Nasty is, he's on KCFX 101 The Fox. But he used to do, I don't think he does them now at all. He used to do traffic reports on like 6 different stations. And on each station, he would have a different name. He was Nine Finger Charlie. He was Charles McClain. He was Chuck Nasty. He had a different name on each station. And I just thought it was brilliant. And I've always been a fan. And I've reached out to him a couple of times. Is it fair to say that Chuck is a little aloof? I mean that in a complimentary way. He's aloof?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's kind of Chuck is Chuck.
Chuck is Chuck. Not unusual in radio for someone to be a little aloof or different or whatever. He's had an unbelievable Hall of Fame type career. He was in Los Angeles for many years, and he gave a rousing speech last night that would get most employees fired. I think. I think you. And he had his. I mean, he had his hand on the boss lady. Right? We got a boss girl around this joint now. She knows what she's doing, and she just rolled right with it. It was good. And I guess it was Chuck being Chuck is the way you say it. But I went up to him and I met him. And then I felt really stupid. About an hour later, I'm talking with John Anthony and he says, well, Chuck was here last year at the Christmas party. And I was like, what? So I didn't meet everybody last year at my first Cumulus Christmas party. I didn't know what Chuck Nasty looked like. Apparently I didn't know. My wife says, well, he was here last year right after John said. I said, are you serious? She goes, yeah, he had the same shirt on. My wife remembered the shirt, but she didn't know it was Chuck Nasty because we didn't talk to him. So Pete introduced me to him, and it was a privilege because I just think the world of broadcasters and people in radio. Had a wonderful conversation last night with Boogie, who's terrific, and Doug Medlock, who's on the Fox. And radio people are just radio people, and we nerded out all night long, and so that was an awful lot of fun. I appreciate all the folks here at Cumulus for throwing, and Ashley, who did a great job setting the thing up and having a fun Christmas party. A lot of people dread their Christmas parties. Not many in radio really dread the Christmas party because it's usually pretty loose. This was a good one, and I met Chuck Nasty. I'm not sure he knows that I met him.
It's very possible he probably won't remember this morning.
I was trying to connect. He wasn't drinking. That's not what I mean. I was trying to connect, and he was looking at Pete, and I was trying to talk to him, and I'm like, okay, I said, it's time to eat. I'm going to go get something to eat. It honestly didn't go as well as I hoped, but hopefully he remembers or I mean, maybe he just thought I was the new promotions intern. I don't know.
He's worn headphones long enough that he's, I think, 80-90% deaf at this point. So there's that.
He has the same hearing aids as my mom.
Okay.
Yeah. I know you can barely see him. You kind of have to be looking. But when he was looking quizzically like he didn't understand what I was saying, I thought, there it is. We got a nice show lined up for you today. I hope you're in as good a mood as we are here at KCMO Talk Radio. We got a bunch of show things going on right now. We're going to start the show with some show things in D.C. and in politics. These are the kinds of things that drive me crazy. We're going to discuss a little bit about what to do with crazy people on drugs in our society. Nick Reiner has brought this up as a national conversation. We've got more machinations around the Royals and 119th and Knoll. A really nefarious scam taking place in Lenexa for the citizens there that they should probably be aware of. And we'll get to talk with Mark a little bit later on about his daughter winning a basketball championship yesterday. Clearly, Mark was the happiest guy at the party last night. He arrived just a little bit late, but with basically a championship in hand, right?
That's right.
Fantastic. Good for you. Okay, so let's talk senators here for a second. Josh Hawley in Missouri has been posturing around. A lot of people think he's going to run for president in 28. This now looks a little silly to me, and he might want to reconsider. Yesterday, Marco Rubio did an interview where he said if J.D. Vance runs, Rubio will not. He's out. He's like, if J.D. Vance runs, he's our nominee, and I support that. I will be the first to endorse and support him. This is big boy stuff. Trump a few months ago said off the cuff, they said, what do you think about 28? He goes, well, I don't know. JD Marco, Vance Rubio sounds pretty good to me or something like that. This whole thing may be predetermined by Trump, and we don't really know it. But people like Holly want to run. Ron DeSantis maybe has missed his chance. I don't know how that all plays out. He's still a young enough guy that he could run somewhere down the road. Republicans aren't going to win forever. This dream of 12 years is probably too much to dream for. And the dream of 20 years is really too much to dream for. So let's not, believe that that's all going to be great and it's all going to happen. But we're seeing that. And at the same time, we have a couple of women. One, Jasmine Crockett, who's trying to steal a seat in Texas. And she's doing a terrible job there. And now we hear Michelle Tafoya, remember the NBC Sports broadcaster who's come out as a strong conservative? Apparently she's going to run in Minnesota. And she's done this at this point before announcing she's going to run for the Senate, that she's just attacking Tim Walz and the money that's been stolen with the fraud taking place there, which I love. And I love seeing that. I would say Michelle Tafoya in Minnesota has about a 50 times better chance of winning and taking a seat from a Democrat than Jasmine Crockett does in Texas, taking one from a Republican. I read this story. This is from a local outfit in Connecticut. Representative Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas, on Sunday appeared to defend migrants by claiming the United States needs them to harvest cotton. Okay, so we got a black lady in Texas where there is a lot of cotton, a black lady in Texas running for Senate saying, well, we need these Mexicans in here to pick our cotton. This is where we're going with this today, okay? Because Jasmine Crockett is clueless. Her comment came at a guest appearance at the 125th anniversary of the Grace Baptist Church in Connecticut. She's in Connecticut spewing this stuff. In an appeal to those who opposed President Donald Trump's immigration policies, Representative Crockett suggested migrants fulfill crucial jobs that Americans no longer desire. Quote, so I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants. The fact is, none of y'all are trying to go and farm right now. Okay, she says, you think I'm lying? Well, you're not. You're just not going to do it. We're done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation. Unquote. Speaking to a black congregation. We're done picking cotton. We need these illegal aliens in here to do it for us. Oh my, is she a bad politician? Like in Texas and the Hispanic population, she basically just said, no. We African Americans, we're done picking cotton. It's your turn. Come on in here illegally and you pick the cotton. She literally used the analogy. That's a bad politician. She has no chance of winning. She's losing in a couple of the Democrat primary polls right now, which I think is fantastic. Also on the Senate scene, we've got Eric Schmidt, who did a round of interviews yesterday in different media because he's being sued by China for $50 billion. This goes back to Eric Schmidt, and this is, we got Jack Smith, the special counsels, in front of the House Judiciary today. Nothing's going to come of that. We got Trump saying he wants Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray to be arrested. Nothing's going to come of that. It's only the Democrats that do it. They raid Mar-a-Lago. They lock people up. They take them off. The Republicans just don't have it in them. They just don't. And now I'm wondering what this is all about with Eric Schmidt, because I really love the guy. I think he's great for Missouri, and he won a really cool lawsuit. He said on Tuesday he will not be apologizing to China anytime soon, as he opened up about a $50 billion lawsuit filed against him personally in retaliation for suing China during his time in Missouri as Missouri's attorney general. Quote, it's totally ridiculous, Schmidt said. They're just mad because we exposed their lies and their deceit. Missouri got a $24 billion judgment, and they don't like that. China unleashed COVID on the world. We sued them, and we won. Now the People's Government of Wuhan Municipality, the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the Wuhan Institute of Virology have sued Schmidt for roughly $50 billion after he sued China during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I'm all for stories like this. I know Eric Schmidt likes to become popular with voters. When is it going to wear off on all of this, on all of us, that this stuff doesn't mean much? Special counsel Jack Smith is in a House Judiciary Committee. This used to be a big deal. You'd go into these private hearings and news would leak and it was a big deal. It happens so often now that it's normalized and nothing comes of it. And Eric Schmidt's lawsuit, he won $24 billion for the state of Missouri. Like, where's that money? They're not getting that money from China, are they? Is there something I don't know here? Did I miss the news conference with the big giant golfers check for $24 billion from Wuhan and China to the state of Missouri? Because $24 billion would go a long way. We wouldn't really need to talk about this stadium issue now, would we? That would be done in Missouri if they just had 24 dropped in their lap from China. They could take, 8, give it to the Royals and Chiefs, 8, give it to St. Louis, 8, give it to the tourism part, the lake and Branson area and all that. Just split it all up and say, here it is, build stuff. I don't remember cashing that Chinese check. What's the point of all this stuff? I love winning the lawsuit. I know what China did to us. I know the lies. It's all been proven. Many people in America who were ridiculed during that period of time were proven to be right. They had tremendous instincts that the government was trying to control them. And they didn't fall for it. But beyond that, okay, do I think Eric Schmidt is going to lose $50 billion to China in a lawsuit? How does international lawsuits actually work? How do you collect from China? How does China come collect here on Eric Schmidt, who doesn't have $50 billion? Some of these stories are just over the top, and I'm tired of them. And I appreciate President Trump saying last night in a post that he wants Christopher Wray and Merrick Garland arrested because we have learned. Absolutely true. This is beyond any doubt. It's true. We've seen it in the emails. The FBI stated there is no probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago and go get Trump. There is no probable cause. Yet they did it. That should be a crime. There should be an arrest. There should be jail time for that against a former president of the United States. But will there be? I mean, what do y'all think of Pam Bondi these days? Everybody's like, Pam Bondi. I'm like, I don't know. Celebrity lawyers. This is kind of what he's doing. I like hiring attorneys for these positions you've never heard of that are just complete ball busters and don't want to be out there in front of anybody. They just want to do it. They just want to grind behind the scenes and get people. That's kind of what I'm about. And I think he's made some mistakes in some of these people he's hired. But I don't know the law well enough to know whether they should all be arrested, whether crimes have been committed, whether they should be in jail. It certainly feels like they should. But we haven't seen anything happen there, and I'm tired of all of it. I'm just going to tell you, the holidays are around the corner. If this stuff was that important, they wouldn't be pushing this stuff a week from Christmas. If these things were critical, if the lawsuit for Missouri with China, if Jack Smith, the special counsel in the House Judiciary Committee, if Trump wanting Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray arrested, if it was really all that pertinent, probably wouldn't be happening this week right before Christmas, now would it? I'm a little tired of the dog and pony shows. 913-408-7957. If you'd like to join the conversation, we could take your calls next. This is Uncanceled on KCMO. Thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you listening to KCMO Talk Radio. We're taking your phone calls at 913-408-7957. And we begin today with Alex in Liberty. How are things in Liberty, Alex?
Oh, they're going pretty good, Kevin. Hey, I got the greatest idea, okay? Like, I heard Eric Schmidt and them talking about the only way they were going to get the money out of China was take back some of the land China had bought, some of our farmland and everything.
Okay, so they would seize the property of Chinese interests, and that's interesting because they sued a government entity, and they could potentially be taking land away from private companies.
Well, except for with China, it's all the
I understand.
country of China.
I understand they're intertwined.
It is the individual owners. How about this? How about we do that and then sell it back to some of our small farmers in Missouri at like half the price, since land goes for like 10 or 12,000 an acre right now. How about we cut that in half and help the small town farmers out too? If
he can find $24 billion worth of Chinese farmland in Missouri, I'm all for taking it from him. Let's do it.
Take all the way you can. If you don't get, hey, even 12 billion's better than nothing.
Let's hope it doesn't start World War III, but that sounds fantastic.
Well, yeah. It would be good. It'd be good for our farmers too.
Yeah, it'd also be good to stop selling things to the Chinese.
Well, hey, all of the above.
Yes, excellent call. Thank you, sir. I does kind of jog my memory. I had heard something briefly about that, the possibility of doing that, and I have no idea how international law works and whether that's doable or not. I would think we're a sovereign country. I mean, Trump just took an oil tanker out of the Caribbean. We ought to be able to get Missouri farmland back, for crying out loud. He's got a full blockade on Venezuela now. They're done with oil coming and going, and he's addressing the nation tonight. And it's supposed to be about his accomplishments in his first year and what's ahead next year. They're talking about sending $1,000 or $2,000 to everybody in like March, when a lot of the tax collections come in and the tariffs keep rolling in. I don't love that, but I understand what it is that he's doing, I guess. If you're going to give money away for midterm elections, shouldn't you give it away in August or September? A little closer to pulling the lever. But, I mean, the Venezuela thing I'm on board with, he needs to talk about that tonight. If he's addressing the nation, if that's what this is supposedly a different kind of speech from the White House. It should be on teleprompter. No riffing, no audience. He should address what it is, what his end goal is in Venezuela and why it's important to American citizens. He should make his case for that. Because you can't convince me right now that we're not at war with Venezuela. It's a different kind of war. We're not bombing them. We're not on the ground taking anybody out, but I think they'd like to, and I think they might. I think if they could find Maduro at the right time, they might take him out and put Machado in, who's sort of in exile but would win easily, and a free and fair election would win easily. And apparently there's hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans in America right now that want to go home and live there, but not until Maduro is out, which meets every goal that Trump is shooting at right there. If we can get hundreds of thousands, maybe into the millions of Venezuelans to go back because that's really where they want to live, that's perfect. They don't really want to come here and be Americans. They're just here sort of as asylum seekers at this point. I love that. I think you accomplish an awful lot of things by doing it that way. And I'm good with taking back any and all land from China necessary. I guess if we're taking the oil tankers, we can certainly do that. Okay, there's this story in Lenexa. I just keep getting inundated. Now, I do live in Lenexa, so I probably hear from more people in Lenexa than I would other municipalities. But we try to be fair around here and cover a lot of things going on around a lot of different municipalities. I don't like the mayor. I campaigned against her. She won. The Liberals won out. They've got control of Lenexa. I've lived in Lenexa since 1999, and they've now got control. They've taken away our city, basically, and the things that they're doing are absolutely unthinkable. They tried to turn the La Quinta Inn into a homeless shelter. That got stopped eventually. This one is an even worse idea. If you go out past K7 and K10, you would think like Western Lenexa. There's a housing community out there where some good folks plop down a whole bunch of money, like $150,000 for a 3-acre lot. And they build houses that are worth $450,000, $500,000, maybe a little bit more now, or certainly worth more now. Across the street, the city of Lenexa owns 18 acres. And they want to sell this for $49,000 per acre to Habitat for Humanity to build really small, really inexpensive houses that they're going to value at around $200,000, which will obviously bring property values down around the area. The city owns the land. They're trying to sell it to Habitat for 1/6 what they could get it from a developer, 1/6 of what they could get, and do this for obviously liberal reasons for Habitat. They've scheduled a hearing with the Planning Commission on January 5th. This should be illegal. Who's even back in the routine by January 5th? That's a Monday. That's the Monday everybody goes back to work. So you're going to have like 8 hours to go catch up on everything and go, oh, there's a big meeting tonight in Lenexa, a Planning Commission meeting. It is January 5th, 7 o'clock, Lenexa City Hall. Nothing you try to promote or make happen around the holidays will stick. This is really, really nefarious. They know what they're doing in Lenexa. To get this crap passed, they know what they're doing. They're trying to keep the public out of that meeting on January 5th, and I can't stand the way Democrats do things. Uncanceled continues on KCMO Talk Radio. Stick around. We got more coming right up. So a couple of days ago, it was last Friday, Pete Mundo had Donna Pittman on from KMBC Channel 9, and I really loved the interview, and she did the documentary last night, The Women Who Served. It was on KMBC TV, and it was just, it's terrific. And so I played a cut of that on my podcast Monday morning. My podcast goes every day. It's called Kevin Keatsman Has Issues. If you want more of this, just go ahead and dial up the podcast and give it a listen sometime. But I played a cut of her and Pete talking about this. And so my podcast audience went to watch it, and I got an email I wanted to share with you. He gave me permission to say it. His name is Mark. I'm not going to give his last name. But he sent this, said, Kevin, thank you for letting your podcast audience know about this program. I knew it would be good with the work they put into it, in particular Donna, but I had no idea it would be a masterpiece. This is my age group. I missed the draft by months as it was canceled not long after my lottery in the 30s. That was the number it was pulled for this gentleman. I still wonder at times if I would have survived the trip to Vietnam. And who would my fiance at that time have married? I was one of the fortunate ones, so I have nothing but respect for any that served. And I got goosebumps reading that. And I thought that was great. And I think that was what Donna was going for. So congratulations, Donna, and the entire team on the women who served in Vietnam, a local documentary. I suspect they will be winning awards for this type of programming. And it's as good as local television can do. It really is. It took them 19 months. And I couldn't do that if I tried. Like broadcasters like other broadcasters, but we also recognize our limitations. 19-month projects and me would not go well. Like do a show every day and it's gone. And then you got to do another one tomorrow and that's it. So that's kind of what works for me, but congratulations to her. And thank you, Mark. I appreciate the email and I'm glad it touched you in a way that was emotional and reveals a lot about that time period and what your generation went through. All right, to the phones we go. We got Stephen in Kansas City, Kansas joining us. Good morning, Stephen. What's up?
Hey, Kim, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I kind of echoed your comments about the Donroe Doctrine being unveiled tonight. That I think this is going to be a winner. It looks like we're going to go after Colombia too, and kind of take all their stuff that's their illegal shipments, that don't have the right flag or the stuff. I'm not much for boots on the ground, but I think this is going to be a winner. I like just kind of decimating these guys, the terrorist economy, piece by piece.
That's right. That's how you do it. And I've thought all along, this is just a theory of mine. I've not really talked to anybody with any expertise or anything, but I've thought all along after the midterms, I think Trump's going after the Mexican cartels. I just don't think there's any question about it. He's going to do whatever he's got to do. He'll surround Mexico, keep ships from coming and going. He'll do whatever, but he's not going to do that until after the midterms. I don't think.
And he campaigned on not having boots on the ground and kind of finding new ways to get these conflicts solved. And I have full faith that he's going to do it.
Yeah, he's learned that money that will solve a lot. And these countries that are doing illegal things and nefarious things to keep their economies going, when you cut that off, you cut their knees off.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you were talking about Merrick Garland and all that stuff in the Justice Department. I'm kind of very curious about this case at Brown University. And it looks like, from what Fox is reporting, is that they're shutting out the locals are shutting out the federal government in terms of the investigation, and Brown is scrubbing quote unquote activists off of their allegedly scrubbing activists off of their student lists, and the what was it? They're telling the family of the Christian what do you call it, the college Republican girl, that she was the target. Well, so keep your eye on that.
You may be right about them keeping the feds out, but let's not forget they had a person in custody, and Kash Patel put a statement out and took like a victory lap and credited the FBI for helping out and doing whatever. And now the FBI doesn't seem to want any part of this. It may be the other way around. They may have looked at this situation and said, not enough cameras, not enough information. These people botched it from the start. This is going to be hard. And we do not want to make this high profile right now because it doesn't look like it's going well.
Well, what is Brown University doing scrubbing what looks like a potential suspect off of? I mean, it just looks tremendous.
The news conferences were awful. They were completely uncomfortable. They wouldn't answer questions. Then they immediately ended it. So there's something going on that they don't want us to know. We're talking about a jurisdiction here where they largely don't like the police. It's not funded very well. It's not a big force. They consider their entire Providence area to be community policed. not the police department. This is community policing is what they call it. This is where they want you to go, tell on bad people and send social workers to knock on doors and things like that. That's what kind of community this is. So it doesn't surprise me that this person has gotten away. But they might as well be holding up a neon sign that said, come commit crime here because we can't catch you.
Well, Fox smells blood in the water. They're sending all their reporters up there to investigate this. I think Brown, they have money. They have billions of dollars in their endowment. And Brown feels like they want to run this show. How they're going to run it? It looks like it's going to backfire on them tremendously. I mean, just something smells in Denmark. This is not right.
No, good call, Stephen. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. It was a good one. And look, campuses are not autonomous zones. They think they are many times because they have a very small campus police force and think they can handle it because there is no more gun-free area than Brown University. It's a gun-free campus. Until the bad guy shows up. It's the same thing that happened at Bondi Beach in Australia. That's the gold standard for gun control in the world. Gun control has nothing to do with the guns. It has to do with the controlling of the people and the votes and the law, and you will do what we ask. To me, gun control is not a whole lot different than COVID was. It's the same mandates. It's the same things. You will do what we say because we say it's good for you. It's identical. I had a buddy send me yesterday one of these little factoid things. There's 193 countries. In the United States, gun violence, we're third worst. Out of 193, we're third. But if you take out the top 5 cities in America run by liberals with the strongest gun laws, we know where these places are, New York City, whatever. If you take those 5 cities out where we have the best, strongest liberal Democrat gun laws, we drop from 3rd in gun violence to 189th. Where they put these things in place are literally the most dangerous places to live because the bad guys get away and the bad guys have guns and they have knives. I don't want to live in Brentwood, California. I don't know what's going on in Brentwood, but it seems to me everybody's got a knife over there in Brentwood and it's high profile and it's gross and it's ugly. But it's L.A. and they're taking Nick Reiner and apparently they're going to lock him up, which has led to a giant discussion this week of what to do with people that are drug addicted and go to rehab 17 times. Are they not criminals? Matt Walsh is a podcast host yesterday and he went off and said, look, we're talking about criminal behavior. You're buying and selling drugs repeatedly. You've been to rehab 17 times. There needs to be a standard. Okay, we're arresting you. We're putting you in jail. We'll hold you for 9 months. We'll bet you get broken of your drug habit that way. It's not as nice as sitting in your dad's house in Brentwood having a therapist come by trying to break you your drug habit. This person clearly had mental issues, serious, very severe mental issues. You don't do what Nick Reiner did. The drug problems were absolutely part of it, but he must have been diagnosed at some point as schizophrenic or bipolar or something of this nature. We see this everywhere. Last week I spoke with Mark a little bit about what happened in New York at Macy's. The woman who worked for the L.A. Sheriff's County deputy went on vacation with her family to New York for the holidays. And she's shopping at Macy's and she's changing the baby's diaper inside Macy's ladies' room. And a crazy homeless woman comes in and stabs her and carves her up. They take her to Bellevue. She was in stable condition. Well, we've now learned about this lady. The Macy's stabber was let go. She was in custody, like literally in custody in a mental institution in Manhattan. They knew who she is. They knew what she's all about. She's been repeatedly in custody. She's schizophrenic. She's got all these tendencies and attitudes and problems, and across the board, they knew exactly what they were doing. They literally let her out of the hospital. She had a schizophrenic episode and had voices in her head saying, go kill somebody. She went to Macy's, bought a knife at Macy's. Apparently you can buy a knife at Macy's. I don't know, steak knives, something. I don't know what she bought. And went to the women's room and tried to carve up a lady with voices in her head. Was in an institution. So I feel strongly that we need to take a lot of these people, and it sounds terrible, but lock them up against their will, break them of the drugs, get some therapy, have them get real psychiatrists and psychologists in there to figure out what's wrong with these people that you go to rehab 17 times before they do something crazy like Nick Reiner did or the Macy's lady did. We got to find a better way. I mean, there absolutely has to be a better way to deal with these people. All right, the Overland Park City Council had some folks roll in Monday night that don't want the baseball stadium at 119th and Knoll. The Jewish Community Center has spoken out that they don't like this idea. I think they're angling for some money out of the Royals. T-Mobile says the Royals are evicting them, that they won't give them a lease extension. The city of Leawood, mayor and council have put out a statement that they're against the stadium. Black and Veatch, as Pete Mundo mentioned earlier today, is not interested in a land swap with the Royals, so they don't seem to be on board with much that's going on. But here's the deal. Where's the Overland Park mayor saying it's a bad idea? Or the Overland Park Council? Where are the Johnson County commissioners saying, no, not so much? Where are the legislators in Topeka saying no? When I say the teams don't care, they don't care that you don't want it because they've already got the people in their back pocket that they need. Wants and needs are two entirely different things. We need oxygen, we need water, we need food. Okay? We want a new car. They're just completely different things. Okay? The Royals need the right people, and the Chiefs need the right people to go along with what they want to do. It almost always works out for every team that they get exactly what they want because those right people are going to be showered with all kinds of perks that are unimaginable. Like the mayor of Overland Park throwing out the first pitch at the first game of a stadium that could be around for 75 years, sitting in the box with the owner, eating the fanciest, cocktail food, shrimp cocktail, sweet vodka, all kind of, like, it's a great deal. Hey, you want to go on a road trip, fly with the team? Oh, we're in the World Series. Why don't you meet me in New York? Let's go to New York on my private jet. It's all there. How many times has Quentin Lucas been to Europe because of the World Cup and the Chiefs? How many times? Qatar, Germany, this symposium, that symposium. He goes. The perks are incredible with these jobs. You get to see the world. You get to spend other people's money. It's great. And it occurs to me that nobody on the Overland Park City Council has said anything bad. The mayor hasn't said anything bad. The Johnson County Commission hasn't spoken out against this, and neither has the state of Kansas. The key deadline could be Monday at 1 o'clock. It's the final legislative coordinating council meeting in the state of Kansas for 2025. The deadline for these teams to accept the Star Bond offer, accept the offer, not do a deal, not complete a deal. They can complete their deal by June 30th of next year. But to accept the offer, supposedly, is December 31st. This meeting starts at 1 o'clock in Topeka. There are 8 members on this coordinating council. 3 of them are from Johnson County. They've been asked by Fox 4, how are you going to vote if the Chiefs and Royals come up? There is nothing. They're meeting Monday. There's not one thing on the docket. There is nothing. There's no outline of the meeting. But you better believe the Royals and Chiefs are coming up on Monday at 1 o'clock. And these people are asked, how are you going to vote? And they're all saying, I don't know. We'll have to decide at the time. Well, that tells me they're going to go along with it. Whatever comes across, they're going along with it because they're not saying otherwise. It's about having the right people in your back pocket, and we'll see what transpires. 913-408-7957, the number to call. We come back. Mark got some big news with his daughter's basketball team yesterday. That's kind of fun. And the NBA to Kansas City, possible? Information on that next on KCMO. Mr. John Anthony has reminded me that there will be a replay of the Women Who Serve documentary, if you didn't see it last night on Channel 9, on KCWE on December 29th at 7 o'clock. I know it's hard to write things down or remember things as you're driving or whatever you're doing right now, but if you missed it and you want to see the documentary about the women who served from the Kansas City area in Vietnam, December 29th, you can just look it up. You'll be able to search it and remember it. Put it in your calendar, December 29th, 7 o'clock, KCWE. Mark came bouncing into the Cumulus Media holiday party last night with an awesome vibe after his daughter won the championship of the silver division of a basketball tournament, and they filled out the bracket with their names on it. How cool was that?
Oh, man, that was exciting to see. It was a up-and-down season. This school that she plays for, I sent you the photo. They haven't won a city championship since 1988 or something like that. And so for them to come together, they had a lot of adversity this year. One of their best players left the team a couple of weeks ago. It was kind of crazy. But they go out on a winning streak. They win the division, and they all sign their names on this bracket. It was so cool.
That's awesome. Okay, so what kind of a dad fan are you? Have you ever hollered at an official?
I've never hollered at an official. I was definitely trying to get yesterday's coach teed up, though, because he was walking out onto the court.
What?
I was like, tee him up.
That's hollering at the official?
I guess so.
Yes.
I guess so.
Do you ever react to a call like, oh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
I'm that guy.
You're into it.
I'm into it.
Proximity? Totally. How close are you to the officials when this happens?
I'm up top. Yeah, we're about halfway up the stands.
Okay.
So
you're in the echo zone.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations to all of you. That's fantastic. So when they built T-Mobile Center, one of the things they did said, hey, vote yes for this on the rental car tax. And I was for it. I love the fact that it was downtown. I knew it would be a better arena than Kemper, and it would be good for our city. And I would say on the radio over and over, don't get your hopes up about an NHL or an NBA team, because I knew that every city, like there was one in Des Moines that was just kicking butt, and they didn't have the NHL or NBA. I said, there's concerts. You won't believe how many events will be in here. The Big 12 tournament needs a better home, all these things. And I knew it would be a success, but it would be great to get an NHL or an NBA team. That would be fantastic. I'm a sports guy. But I never held my breath. The commissioner of the NBA said in an interview yesterday, they're going to meet in 2026 and likely agree to add 2 new franchises to the NBA. He specifically mentioned Las Vegas and Seattle, which leads me to believe they've already made up their mind where the 2 teams are going if that's what they do.
Yeah, that seems about right. Vegas has all those tournaments now. Seattle's been longing for a team since the year that they left. The Seattle Supersonics going to OKC, so it makes sense.
But if Cliff Illig wanted to move an NBA team here, an NHL team here, plenty of them are struggling.
Yeah.
And could be relocated.
That's true.
That takes a big appetite. You'd have to really want to do something like that. But I'm not clamoring for either one or holding out hope. I just don't think it's going to happen. If Seattle gets an expansion team, are they the Supersonics?
I could see him renaming it the Supersonics again.
Yeah, you'd have to, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you not?
Yeah.
And that's named after the Boeing jets there and whatnot? Yeah.
They had a cool mascot, too, the Sasquatch.
That's right.
I loved that guy.
I do remember that. They had some wild uniforms back in the day. I like that, the Seattle Supersonics. Cincinnati Bengals fans are doing Kansas City a solid. They are donating $15 at a time to the Patrick Mahomes charity, 15 in the Mahomies, because he got hurt. This is in response to a bunch of Chiefs fans who donated a bunch to Joe Burrow's charity when Joe Burrow got hurt. Is this a younger generation thing?
Yeah, I like it. It's a social media driven type thing where fans just go to each other's aid and help each other. It's really cool.
I love it. I don't just like it. I love it because there's so much disdain on social media and nastiness. This is just great. That's fantastic. Donate to a charity. One of the great players in the NFL got hurt. That's a pretty cool thing, man.
I think they did this for Josh Allen as well.
That's correct, yeah.
After the 13-second game, they gave $13.
Oh, but that was kind of rubbing it in.
A little bit, but they still gave money to his charity.
It's different when you get hurt. I like doing it when you get hurt. I don't like doing it after you beat somebody. Doesn't seem quite right to me. The Vince Show's coming up next. He's going to have a whole lot more on Trump's big speech tonight and everything going on with the blockade of Venezuela. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks for listening to Uncanceled.